What's happening? Capostoid aka Malker here at Big Kitty Games. Kitty's on the cat cam. I need to give their names a little background or something there. Um, Clocking in a little late. Had a nasty headache this morning. Not a big deal. Was patching things up till 11:30 last night. So I assure you I'm getting my hours more than in. Just still booting up here. Actually had one of my favorite meals last night, pot stickers, gyoza in Japanese, jiaozi in Chinese, I think. You dip them in soy sauce though, and I always dip them in too much soy sauce, and I was drinking juice, not water. So in the morning I wake up and my eyes hurt because I got too much salt in my system. So I had a big glass of water and doing all right. Got some cool new biome screenshots up yesterday. We got the ocean biome kind of started. So this is the floor of the ocean biome, though. If you look at the, if you look up from here, there's no fish or anything in the water yet, so it's still pretty, it's pretty bland. Even if the ground looks pretty cool. So I was going to toss in some fish. Actually, I have quite a few fish. But I realized the scripts that I have for, what are they called? Monster AI script, which handles monster movement. Animals make use of that too, via the Animal AI inherited scripts, which inherit from Monster AI as the base class. Hi, kitty. They make use of what's called a nav mesh, which is drawn across the surface of the terrain or the cave or whatever you're in. And that's not going to work in the water because the nav mesh, is going to be on the bottom when the fish could be 100 meters above the bottom. So I need to make up a little, and there's ways you could work it to work with that, but it would be silly and not a good way to go about things. So I want to make a new AI script, and we can mimic the majority of our original script, but we want to sort of expand parts of it into a different direction so that they're not using nav mesh. They're using what would be sort of collision detection sort of movement system. So I'm going to call this aquatic AI. And we're not going to inherit from Monster AI. Hi, other kitty. You sit on my lap. Toasty, sun came out, huh? And I'm just going to copy and paste this in here as my sort of reference to start things out. So we're not going to be using nav mesh. We're not going to be using ragdoll. We will use target, spawn, shift, destination, nav mesh, offset we don't use. Rest of this, I think, is going to be normal. So yeah, we might want to inherit from Monster AI after all. The startup stuff, like start and then update's going to be the big one. But we've got this set up as virtual too. That means that we can override it on a child class, which means that we can do away with the nav mesh stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and actually take that back. We're gonna monster AI. I'm gonna inherit from that, which means that all of this is actually going to be already inherited. It's going to exist already. We don't need to add anything new to it. This is going to be now an override, but only if we need to. And we're probably going to want to, but let's see. So mainly, I want to get rid of nav mesh stuff, like the agent here. So we do want to go ahead and override this. Not a big deal. We'll just get rid of that. That stuff is all inherited by now. Or not inherited. I plugged that in manually now. Rank is apparently not visible. Is that private? Protected rank should be usable. Oh, that's because I've copied the enum here. Don't want that. So this will start up the same, which is a bit of a bummer. Just because we've got most of this code already being copied. So another way we could do this is actually put a change into the base script here. And we are doing if agent does not equal null. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and just ignore that, this whole start method, because that is going to be null on aquatic stuff. So the rest of this is all going to run as normal. So don't need to override that. Set up attacker we don't need. That is for town attack mobs, which actually 90% already work. Don't need any of this. Let's see here. This sets up the level, the tier, the health, the speed, the name, the damage. If agent does not equal null, it sets the agent speed to that, which we don't want, but again, it's checking to make sure the agent isn't null first, so don't actually need any of that either. Now this we are most definitely going to need to change. So it might be nice to compartmentalize some of this so that we can only change the pieces that we want to on the parent script and add in any new changes that we need directly into update here. So this is what gets called every frame. If I do override, it's just going to do the exact same thing. But this is the stuff we need to worry about, because we're not going to be using an agent. I don't think, like I say, if I chunked off these bigger pieces into their own methods, I could change the base update method to just be 5 or 6 different calls rather than all of the code in here once. And then when I go to override it in the child class, I could change maybe 1 or 2 of those calls instead of having to change all of this code. But let's see. Yeah, I pretty much need to just rewrite all of this anyway, though. Maybe I can just remove this. So we could do not generate self, but update here. Let's say we have a handle audio method. Let's put it under the late update. We'll do protected virtual void, even though I don't expect to be overriding it anywhere. We'll do handle audio, and within that we can move all of this audio stuff, which is all of this, and instead just say handle audio. And now since this guy is protected, that means he's private, but child classes still have access to him. If he was private, only this class would ever be able to use it. Protected means outside classes can't use it, but classes inheriting this class can still use it. So we can leave all of that as is. We've moved that down here. So this guy can now just call handle audio like normal. And that gets rid of those errors, and now we can handle this stuff. This is what we're going to need to rewrite, all of this stuff. So this is fine, this is fine. Agent enabled equals true is not what we want. Let's go ahead and mark that. I don't generally mark stuff. How do you mark it? I don't actually know how to mark it. So maybe I won't. Was it over here? There we go. Okay, so I want to mark that as something that needs to be fixed. That's only if we are frozen by a freezing spell. And then this is going to be our... This is going to be unnecessary. These are just the timers. Could make a method out of those. But it's not a big deal. Now this is where we handle movement. So this first step here is just checking to make sure if we've reached our target, stop. That's all that he's doing. This guy is checking to see if we should attack. Check if we should attack. Basically, it's this bit here, which is the same thing. What we really just need is a bool. Be like, are we moving or are we not moving? Which is kind of just a check, really, like this here. If the distance is less than melee range, and we do have a target, but let's see. We're not gonna move if we've hit this, so don't actually need this. I'm just gonna comment him out for now, though. Yeah, I'll just delete him. If we are frozen, we're not gonna move beyond this point. So we're not going to move into sort of a handle movement method that we're going to be setting up here. In this case, if we are within melee range, basically we don't need to stop the agent from automatically moving itself. We'll be handling that manually. So we just need to turn the animator speed down and make sure we're looking at our target, and if we have an attack, we'll attack. Otherwise, if we're not attacking, which we never are for fish, and our aggro timer has run out, or if we've gone too far from our spawn point, we will try to return to our spawn point. Failing these two, in that our aggro timer is still up, or we are still within half a kilometer of our spawn point, we'll give chase. This will never trigger. This is again town attacks, so we can ignore that. Else, if we are not returning, that means we're basically wandering. We don't have a target, and we're not trying to return to our spawn point. That's where we call sense, which is try to find a target. After sensing, if we still don't have a target, and we're wandering, but we haven't started wandering, we're going to start wandering. Now, I think what we need here, because we're checking the agent velocity to see if we're standing still, what we want instead is to look at the rigid body, I think, which we don't use when we're working with an agent, but I believe we have a reference to it. Maybe not. Not yet. So let's set that up. Monsters don't need it because they're working with the agent, but we'll set one up here. So rigid body. I think if I actually call this rigid body, it's going to yell at me. No? They're alright. There's some outdated references sometimes Unity doesn't like. And let's go ahead and serialize that. So I can plug it straight in, and we'll set it to null by default. So instead, let's see. What we're going to want to do is, where were we? If rigid body dot velocity is 0, meaning we're standing still, we're going to want to start wandering. Or not wandering. If stuck while wandering. That's what that is, huh? As a rigid body, that's going to be very difficult to call. For an agent, that happens when you hit like the edge of a nav mesh. If stuck while wandering, you certainly could be stuck. It'd just be really unlikely you'd get all the way to 0 velocity as a rigid body, even if you're sliding a little bit against a rock wall or something like that. You're not actually going to be at 0, but it could happen. We're going to be using a collision detection system, though. So I don't think I'm going to use that. Let's get rid of that and say if we are wandering, but the distance to our destination is less than a meter. which is just a random position we've rolled. We'll go ahead and stop. This is kind of where I need to set up, slow down. When we do chase and when we do move, when we do wander, we'll need to speed up. So I'm going to need some new variables for that, I think. Otherwise, let's see, if we're not returning and we don't have a path, try to get a new path. What is this? Sample position, spawn point. We don't have a target. We are returning. This is just going to be moving towards our spawn point. Which should get set by our return to spawn, ideally. So say we are returning, we don't have a target, but our position, we don't need the nav mesh offset anymore. And our destination, which should be our spawn point in this logical case, is less than 1. We can consider ourselves returned and switch into wander mode. So that should all be fine. This we don't need to change. Wander, we're going to have to override this because we don't want any agent checks anymore. If the wander timer is greater than 0, it means we're still in the middle of wandering, so we don't want to call this. Or if we belong to an encounter, we don't want to call this. Otherwise, we want to get a new wander position within 15 meters of our spawn point. Now, do I want sharks and fish swimming up and down? There could be cases where they swim directly vertically if I set this all to random. I don't think you very often actually see fish look straight down and swim. So I'm probably not going to be rotating them on those axes. We'll keep them flat. If they need to move a little bit downward, they'll just sort of, do this kind of thing. As far as their wandering goes, I don't think I will have them change their Y value. I'll just have them, pick something in a circular range there, sort of wander between that. Might turn this up a little bit, maybe not. Don't need to do any of these checks because that's all nav mesh stuff. So we're just going to get, we do need to set our destination. Basically, we can just directly set destination to that and get rid of all of this. We would now be wandering. We'd set up a new wander wait time. This and that. We'll want to override chase as well. All of these movement scripts we're going to want to override. Again, we're not going to be using agents anymore. Rest of this should be the same though. Might want to speed up here. Hi, kitty. Are you bored? Bored, little kitty? We're not ever going to be attacking. I'm just going to, I'll comment this out for now. Fish are never going to be attacking buildings. Protected void, return to spawn. Okay, let's go and set that up to be able to override it. Where did that go? Protected virtual void. And now this one's going to be an override. Return to spawn. Target equals null. Returning equals null. Returning equals true. Turn the speed up. Again. Speed up. And we don't want to do any of this. We just want to do destination equals spawn point. And we do reset their health when they go to return to spawn, which not everybody likes. And we'll probably change that in the near future. I kind of want to get just some basic aquatic animals set up. Then I want to get back to player animations. Particularly the swimming animation is really broken right now, which is a bummer while we're setting this ocean stuff up. So, but that'll be a nice segue back into player animations for combat animations, so we can fix the controller up to be a lot nicer. And then I should be able to get back into sort of the main loop that I was in, which would then lead me back to working on this monster AI. So we'll be improving this in the near future. You know, they should just start regenerating health slowly. It's a bummer when you get them down to 10% and then they reset all of a sudden. I know that's not fun. Set destination is basically just trying to find a nice location based on the target position. In this new case, we're not going to need to be worrying about nav mesh shenanigans. So we can really just go straight to this. Destination equals target position. Which, begs the question, do we even need to call that? Not really. We're already overriding this guy, so let's just put it right here. Now then, combat, I believe, is going to be just the same. We're going to test if we can see anything. And if we can, we're going to set it as our target. Don't need to change that. Target building, we're not going to be using, so don't need that. Attack, I believe, is also the same. There shouldn't be any agent nav mesh shenanigans in there. Let's just straight up attack building again. We don't need that either. Set target. Don't need to change. Attack entity. Don't need to change. Attack entity. This is the actual when you hit something. Don't need to change any of this, I don't think. There is an agent call though. If frozen, let's go ahead and update that just to add a little agent check in there. Attack building, it's underneath this. Here we go. Agent. Need to keep track of this stuff. So let's just do an if agent does not equal null. Check. In the case of fish, it will be null, so this won't be called. Rest of that should be good. What was the other? I had an agent on find in here. If agent does not equal null, got checks in there, checks in here too. Good. So this should be all fine. Crystal audio damage target encounter AI if we've hit it to the point of killing it. Yada yada yada. This is all the same. Reward EXP, reward light if the agent is not null. Yada yada yada. This stuff is all good and the same in any case. So we can remove that. Stun entity does check for agents. So yeah, we're going to want to be handling movement separately. So this shouldn't be called, or shouldn't be any different. We're going to set a stun timer, and that gets checked in the update loop. So we know that that's going to be fine. Freeze, likewise. Making sure it checks the agent. It does. So that's good. Handle effects should be fine. Apply effects should also be fine. This stuff too. Remove effect. Die event is only for the elementals. I don't need that. Death. We do need this, but doesn't need to be different. Yeah, that should all be fine. Combat doesn't deal with movement, so none of that really needs to be changed. This is going to be the same as well. Let's just do a find agent once more so I can see if there's any more calls. Only this one. Oh, that's magenta. Okay. I don't see any more agent calls, so we should be able to accept all the rest of this, I think. Find an acceptable spawn point. This is going to need to be different, huh? Let's see, we're not going to be on the ground anymore, so nobody's actually even calling this. Well, he's not virtual. Let's see who's calling his original self. Nobody's calling him. Okay, well, don't need him then. That's just fine. That's fine. This is fine. That is also fine. Trigger animation should be the same. Play audio. Get hit audio, walk audio, run audio. Animator controllers. Health bar stuff. Animations. Rarity changed, doesn't matter. Yep, we can get rid of all of that. Okay, so all that we're really changing is a little bit of this update method. Pretty much the same, to be honest. Kind of would like to generalize this stuff a bit more. What did we change in wander? Because I'd like to just get rid of these if I can. But let's see, wander. Alright, let's look at the flow of this though, because first of all, we've got handle audio. Then we've got, for example, if we're dead or we're not the server, we don't want to handle artificial intelligence. If we're stunned or we're frozen, we do that and then don't do anything else. We handle our timers. If we're dead, that's it. Don't actually need, we could move this above the timers, honestly, but whatever. Now, if we do have a target, again, we're never going to be doing this, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Check if we should attack. Let's say if we have a target, check if we should attack. If we don't have a target and are not returning, wander. Wander and sense. If we are returning, make it so. So all that we're missing here is the agent interaction. Now the agent is going to handle speed for monsters using the nav meshes all in on its own. It's got a little acceleration script and deceleration and this and that. So we need to program that ourselves for stuff that's in the water. So if we've reached our target, stop. Yeah, that's true. That's really kind of this guy, though. If we have a target and we are within melee range, we want to slow down, basically. So I don't really need that. So these are kind of the new things that I need to add in. Slow down, and then here we've got speed up and speed up. Let's see how those work. So we've got our rigid body. We've got a run speed and a walk speed. Really just need to add some force, some forward momentum to ourselves in the direction of our target. So in this case, we want to slow down. So we want to do, let's see. Don't really want to just leave it up to drag. We want to do rigid body dot add force. I don't think there's a remove force or anything like that, right? You know, and we could do velocity equals, and this is a vector 3, right? So we could do, if I do it by division, it's going to be a decaying deceleration. Would rather have it be an accelerating deceleration, you know, so it ramps up this towards 0. And I'm not very good at math, but basically, let's just do a straight up subtraction. Go ahead and set up a, let's say, serialized field for now. We'll say float deceleration. We'll set it to 20 for now. And if I've serialized it, that means I can access it in the Unity inspector, so I can change that in real time to play with it. So we're just going to do minus equals deceleration times time dot delta time. Right, and we want to do, let's see, vector 3 dot 1 times it might be a bit severe. This is basically just a 1 1 1. So in any direction. Well, yeah, no, that's not going to work, because if we're running backwards, it's going to actually end up being a bonus to it. So I guess we do want to divide, but what am I thinking of here? I want to have a exponential decay, basically. Which I would probably know about if I was better at math. Stop flashing, Google. I looked at you. Well, I think I'll actually do a move towards. I think there's a vector 3 move towards. There we go. So let's just do rigid body velocity equals vector 3 move towards, and this one's our current, so we're going to do rigid body dot velocity. Our target is going to be vector 3 0, and our max distance delta, is that going to need to be a vector? Is that fine as a float? That is fine as a float. Okay. So we'll do that. Deceleration times time dot delta. That works. So this will slow us down. It won't be exponential, but it will be linear, which is still better than decaying. Don't want to immediately set our animator to 0, but that's not terrible. They're fish. They'll stop moving, but they'll still coast for a little bit until they stop. We'll be looking at our target. So I think we can just add this into here as well. Gracias. Wife stole my phone. And opened 20 different programs as usual. Likewise, if we are not returning, we're wandering. But if we've wandered to our destination, we're going to actually set wandering to false, which means that this is actually only going to get called once. So we don't actually want this right here. Let's see though, where do we want it? This is if we do have a target and we're within melee range, we want to slow down. This is if we're wandering but we've reached our destination. You know, I don't really want him to just go wee pop and stop. But I guess we can just let the drag handle that. I'll go ahead and leave this as is for now, so they'll just slow down slowly based on the drag, the physics drag from the water itself. More important will be the speed up methods. So if we are attempting to wander, this will only be called once again when we set wander to true. So it's not actually where we want to handle the addition of force. Chase is called every frame if we have a target that we're not within melee range, that we still have egg roll on. So this... 食べる喜んでいや通常2つだからね2つ俺一人で1つ超えるからなまた頭痛くなるいやもう元気ですピピちゃんのように最近そこハマったんだよね2人がなんでかありがとうございます。Wife has a dentist appointment. And right nearby the dentist is the tastiest pasta shop in the world. I kid you not. And as of the pandemic, they have perfected their takeout pasta. So it's like not yet cooked. The sauce is all in a pouch. You pour the sauce on the pasta, and then you microwave the whole thing for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And it cooks the pasta, heats the sauce up. It's so good. She's going to buy that on her way back. I'm excited. I'm salivating. So tasty. It's really garlicky, spicy sauce. Delicious. Anyway. So this is being called every frame. So we don't actually want to... I'm not going to do velocity. I'm going to do add force. And let's see. I mean, it'd be the same thing, basically, as a move towards... But this is kind of the normal way of doing things here. Force mode is always the weird question. But anyway, we want to do... Basically, target dot position... Let's see, transform dot position minus target position, or is it the other way around? Again, I'm just not really good at math, unfortunately. I think well, that's fine. I never really wanted to be a programmer. I wanted to be a designer, but necessity has given me the job at hand. I think it's target position minus my own position, and I want to turn that into a magnitude, so it's just got a total of 1. No, not a float. What do I want? Normalized. Returns this vector with a magnitude of 1. So I want that, and I want to do times like speed. Walk speed, run speed, 2 and 6. Meow, meow, meow. What are you doing? I think I'm gonna need different values for that. Let's go ahead and make new ones for that. So let's do, I've already got my walk speed, and these are protected, so I can't access them. That's used by the nav mesh guys. Let's go ahead and say, I'll just say walk speed RB and run speed RB. And I don't quite know what a good value for this is going to be. Let's say 10 and 30 maybe. And then I'll leave those serialized so I can play with them, because I'm not sure what a good number is going to be. So in the direction we want to go, we're going to add force. This is going to be our run speed RB. And we will again multiply that by... Wandering equals false. I don't have a chase spool, do I? Would be better to call this in fixed update, to be honest. If we've got a target, if we've got a target, we're not within melee range. If we call return to spawn, it's going to say returning and remove our target. So we could set that up without really causing much in the way of performance. Let's say if target does not equal null, and our this guy and vector3 distance, yeah, this is going to change per physics tick. So this guy is greater than melee range. In that case, we're going to be moving. So that would be our chase here. So I don't need it within this guy. We'll handle it separately, but same deal. So if we do have a target, we're not yet in melee range, we want to move, and we want to do time.fixed delta time. So it's going to happen per physics tick now. Update is camera frame rate, which is actually wholly independent of physics tick rate. The physics engine is its own complete separate entity that operates independently. Fixed delta time is the time since the last tick, and every tick fixed update will be called. This is what you need to be using when you're working with physics specifically. The other event we had was if we are within melee range. So let's actually move that down to here as well, so we can encompass this in a single bit of logic, and we can make a second round of logic here. So we've got if we're not in melee range, otherwise we are going to be in melee range, like this. And again, I could be adding negative force, but this is a little easier. We'll just change this to fixed delta time. So every tick, he's now going to be decelerating. Which, yeah, I think I'll leave that as is, its own separate variable. The only other speed up we've got here is if we are returning to spawn. Currently I've got stuff running back to spawn, and I think that makes sense. So in this case, returning is going to get set to true. So if target is null, means we don't have a target. Else if we are returning. Now we want to add force to our spawn point position, normalized, and be heading towards the spawn point. I do have a check, right? Else if we're not returning, else if we have reached our destination, we turn that off. And we'll just let the drag slow us down then. So I think that's all that we need. Now, did I actually need to change wander and that stuff at all? Wander, that's all above combat, isn't it? Wander. Yeah, he's doing this stuff. Wander position. Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave that all overrid. Again, we don't need this. Destination equals target, yada yada. So we know if, let's just double check this once more. What do we got? Fixed update. If we have a target, we're going to run towards it unless we're in melee range. Yeah, we're going to run towards it unless we're in melee range. Then we're going to move towards 0 at a increased rate of deceleration than just drag. If we are, that means we would be chasing. So we're either chasing or we're not chasing. If we don't have a target, there's also the wander, isn't there? So yeah, we've got returning handled, but we don't have wander handled yet. So if we're wandering, and we've reached our destination, we'll set wandering to false. So, how does the wander timer work? When we call wander, if wander timer is greater than 0, we return. Okay, so we can do pretty much the same thing here. Else, if we are wandering, we want to add force towards our destination, and in this case we're going to do our walk speed like that. Okay, that should be it. Other than that, we're just going to let ourselves drag to a stop. So let's go ahead and add in, I'll just put it on I've got a pike and a salmon and a shark and an octopus ready to go. And a lot more fish that I can put in. I just haven't, I don't think I've imported them yet is all. So let's put a pike together. Animal Pack Deluxe pike. Let's drag him out. And let's see now. Just for reference, I'm going to bring out a... Let's just bring out a goblin. Now, it's a pretty small pike. I like to make stuff big, even if it's not very realistic. But we'll get there. Let's give him a parent object. Something else I like to do, so I can scale him up. Be a big fish without changing this to. Let's see, this is going to be an animal pike without changing the parent. I'd like to keep them at 1, 1, 1. So. Similar to the goblin, we've got all of his whatnot down there. I want to duplicate the health bar stuff and reposition it so that it's not way up here, but more down here-ish. Like that, maybe. And then we're going to need a collider, an LOD group, and an aquatic AI for starters. So let's add a capsule collider on the z-axis with a height of 2.5, pushed back just a little bit, maybe not quite so big, 2.2-ish, that's a little better, and maybe more like a 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.3 maybe. We definitely want him to be a mob. What else do we need? LOD group, please. Oh, goodness. What are you doing? Kitty going crazy. Hi. Thanks for the like, Fab. Hope you're doing well. I don't know if you're watching, but I got some screenshots. I should send these to you. Fixed up some, got a new ocean biome, increased all the sort of vibrance in all the biomes, added some new colors, more ground clutter, still improving some stuff. Fab's kind of a, I don't know if you'd call him a mentor, a comrade in arms with a very different skill set than my own. I'm just not a graphics guy, and so he's been giving me input and insight on fixing some of this stuff up. Just trying to get some fish into the ocean biome here, so the water, the ground looks nice now, but the water's still empty. So I'm trying to get a new aquatic AI script going on these guys. We can go ahead and add that onto him. I do want to set this LOD group up. I like to put them at about 3%. And now then, we're not going to need the animate or the agent. We do need the animator. He doesn't have an audio source that gets added in by himself. The melee range is a bit big there, maybe more like 1.5-ish. This gets set up on its own, I believe. We'll go ahead and mimic the goblin though. We'll call him Pike. He is an ocean baddie. He has a health bar background, a health bar, and a health bar sprite. No, that was always in there, John. There's only one set of Footstep Sounds, unfortunately, right now. I don't have it checking like if you're doing if you're running on in the Goblin Dungeon, it should be more of a harder noise than it should be out on the dirt, but I don't have a check ground type of system set up just yet. But there are running footsteps, and there's a setting for that too. You can just turn the footsteps on and off. Health bar set, not using death animation. Don't have any audio for him yet. Rigid body we need to add. Like so. These values I'm not sure what to set them at. We'll just put them like that for now. Let's see, I'm going to be handling all of this manually. We don't want to use gravity. I do want pretty hefty drag. Well, let's turn it up to something like this just for now. And let's say he weighs... How much? Well, I made him a big fish. Let's say he's 30 kilos. I think that is good. The only problem currently, the fish will follow you into space. They don't have any sense of water or collision yet, so we need to expand on that. But let's just give him a test first, see if he can spot me and follow me. I don't have his animation set up at all either. Let's look at that real quick. What's he got? He's got a swim and a fast swim. That's all he really needs. Currently using doesn't even have a condition. Alright. He needs a parameter. For example, for Mr. Goblin, that would be speed. And that is an integer. So it's just going to be 1 and 2, right? Speed equals greater than 1 or greater than 0, right? Okay. So Mr. Pike wants an integer called speed. And we're going to get warnings that the animator doesn't have an attack and this and that, but I don't think that'll be a problem. So he doesn't even have an idle. That's interesting. Pike swim fast. Let's look at these real quick. What does the pike swim animation look like? He's swimming. Or he's fast swimming. I would like to have an idle. I could just make one of these really slow. So he's just kind of wiggling a little bit. Something like this. Let's say idle. Entry's going to go into here. Not there. Default entry. How do I do this? Make. I think this guy set layer as default state. There we go. Okay. And we need these kinds of transitions set up. So it's basically just speed is greater than 0, but less than 2, we'll go to swim. In this case, if speed is less than 1, we'll go back to idle. If speed goes greater than 1, we'll go to swim, or fast swim. Or if it is less than 2, we'll go back to normal swim. Here we will go, if it's less than 1, we'll go back to idle. And here we will go, if it's greater than 1, we'll go straight to swim. It should be, we don't need exit times. Not exit times. We're going to base off of our parameters for transitions. And let's see, idle needs to be pike swim with a speed of, let's say, 0.2. So he's just going to do a real slow sort of waddle there when he is idle. That should work for that. And I'm not going to, well, might have to set up some new spawn method for them as well, since we're going to be spawning them in 3D now, not just on the ground. But we'll get there. We'll get there. First, I want to just make sure that he works. So we've got an LOD set up. What else do we need? Monster AI. Don't need an agent. Network transform. Proximity checker we do need. And a monster drop. Interactable drop. Okay, so we need network transform. I'm not pronouncing things very well today. Network proximity checker. And what's that set up to? Visual range of what is he normally? 152. So this is, these guys will only spawn on a client via the server if they are within 150 meters. Hey Katie, thank you for the like. The update interval will be 2 seconds, so they won't be doing it constantly. The cast layer is just going to be player, right? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now we need monster drop and interactable drop. And I think those are turned off by default. Yeah. None of that, none of that. Facility type, monster drop. This will all get set up on its own when it needs to. So that's fine as is. And we should be good to go. Let us save our pike prefab here. And I'm just going to drag him into the ocean for now. So let us start single player. And I think there are some bald patches showing up in the ocean as well. I've got a Solace nearby the ocean. I also noticed my breathing potion doesn't seem to count down. Let me open that up real quick. Player, I think that's nutrition. Or is it environment? I think it's environment. Update. Breath. It shouldn't be in here though. It should be a buff. So it should be player skills or player stats. Current buffs. We've got a ticker going off. Current buff. For every current buff, it should go down 3. Oh, it actually looks like it wore off finally. I was taking screenshots. Okay, well, I've got some more in my bag. I'm going to go ahead and drink one right now. I had a breathing potion active, and it was not counting down. I also turned on anti-aliasing for some screenshots I was taking yesterday. I'm going to turn that back off. See, I've got a few in my bag here. I'm going to drink one. Yeah, it looks like he's counting down fine now. I don't know, it looked like he was stuck the other day. Yesterday. After I came out of the water, he was just sitting there. I'm going to keep my eye on that. And I'm going to turn the daytime back on. And I'm going to run west into the ocean. Had some people talking about too many rocks. Can definitely turn the rocks down. It's a bear. The dreaded riverside bear. I'm going to let him hit me once, so he keeps aggro. And can you follow me into the water, sir? You can. I should probably fix that. He's only going to be able to follow the ground. And he's going to get confused down there, but he's never going to drown. He really shouldn't follow me into the water. So I will look at that here in a second. No, thank you, sir. But yeah, I think there's like some bald patches going on over here. And technically, you can see my biome indicator down here is still showing me as primarily in the mountains. Even though this has gone underwater. And you can see the rain is actually coming through here too. I need to fix that too. Let me write that down. Rain is not colliding with water. But anyway, We do have ocean over here, and it doesn't matter either way. I'm just trying to test my fishy. I'm going to go ahead and save right here so I don't forget about it, because I often do. I have to walk back out here. Now then, let us drag in a fishy. Anywhere will do. Let's put him over here. It shouldn't be too close to me. Can I see him? There he is. He's doing a little waggle. I'm behind him, so I should be able to sneak up on him. Got him selected, and Unity hates it when you do that. Kills your frame rate. Can he spot me if I get too close? And really, he should be passive, but he's set up to not be passive. No, he's not triggering on me. He looks good, though. Big fish in the water. Why is he not attacking me? I'm just going to close all this stuff down so it's not in the way. Yeah, if you've got the tools for it, they're easy to take down. Let's see. What's he doing here? I don't think debug mode will give me much more information. All of my timers are sitting still. Oh, did it send it all to you in one stack, huh? Let me write that down. That's an easy fix, just something that normally doesn't happen. Now that it can, though, I'll take a look at that. So anyway, fishy's not doing what we want him to, somehow. Aquatic AI. Oh, well, yeah, that would do it. I didn't actually spawn him. Let's go ahead and just, let's go ahead and make them spawn on properly. Just so I don't have to click all that stuff. Prefabs, animals, doesn't matter, we'll just grab something. Pike. He's gonna be a pike. Let's get back into normal mode. Size is 1. He's an animal. He spawns in the ocean. We'll give him a spawn rate of 5 for now. Minimum height is going to be 0. Maximum height is going to be more like 898. And the rest of that doesn't matter. And I just need to plug him onto the manager. And it will take care of the rest for us. Procedural prefabs. Where's the animals? Trees, animals. There we go. Closed that, didn't I? Procedural prefabs, pike. So now he will automatically spawn through all the proper methodology in the ocean. I wasn't I didn't manually spawn him. There's an actual network spawn button. So he was considering himself as on the client and not spawned. So this is server was canceling out any of his AI updates. Yeah, I know what you mean, John. It's just something that really wasn't possible up until now, I think. Because we didn't have anything returning stacks that large. Unfortunately, it's still going to be trying to spawn them on the ground, so I need to find one of them. I think there's one down there. Yep, there's a fish wagon. Let's see if he spots me. Looks like he's walking. Yeah, he's trying to run at me, but he's not moving. So his rigid body settings aren't set up sufficiently. Or we should say his speed settings. So let's turn this up times 10 and just see how that works. It's still awfully slow. He's not looking at me either. No, he's going backwards. Well, I think his aggro wore off, didn't it, probably? Huh. That's oddly slow. Run speed, drag. Attack doesn't exist. Okay, he's trying to bite me now. Doesn't have an attack animation, but awfully slow. It's interesting. Even if I turned that up pretty high. I wouldn't mind that being quite a lot more, to be honest. That's better. So he should be able to run away from me at a good speed. He's only looking at me when he gets into melee range, so I need to change that. And he overshot me there. Well, that's funny. Add force might not be what I'm looking for here. Let's see. Might want to go ahead and do this move towards business. My cat's is dreaming. So this one is going to be decelerating us. Really? So maybe it's post-reload. The spells potions aren't working or something like that? Or maybe just the UI isn't updating properly? Keep my eye on that. Look at that here in a minute. I want to do move towards... Let's see... Normalized would be 1. And I want it to be moving towards the run speed. So that works fine, I think. Whoops. This is actually what we want it moving towards. So it's currently going to be at rigid body velocity. We're going to move it towards the direction we want times our run speed. I think deceleration would be fine. I'm actually going to just rename that to acceleration. Times that. I think that will work better. If we're wandering, we're going to want to do kind of the same thing. Except it's going to be like this. Current velocity moving towards our destination normalized times walk speed to a maximum of acceleration times time dot fixed delta time. And if we are returning, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to be using the run speed. So everybody's using move towards. We're using acceleration. The stuff that I changed should stay the same. Not meaning not the 1,000, 2,000 that I was inputting there. And we need them to be looking at us. So this is if we're looking at the target. Chase is also if we're looking at the target. This is called every update. But it's using the chase timer. Who turns the chase timer on? I don't think we actually use the chase timer in that sort of way. Chase timer equals chase update speed. So we only check to see if we're actually chasing every 0.25 seconds. Alright, well, I will not do that for the look method. We'll actually have him look at us every frame. If we are set to return, we want to be looking at our destination. Likewise, if we're wandering, and we've made it, or if we're not wandering, we want to set up a new wander. Otherwise, we want to be looking at our destination. I think that should work. Let's try that stuff out. Yeah, we don't have a good source of essence of water yet, and that's definitely one thing we want to add to the ocean biome. I wonder what with. I do want to add water elementals, so maybe that. I mean, what would be a water-based resource? Maybe we need to make something that you can harvest water from. Because there's essence of metal and beast and plant and timber and stone. Those are all the am I doing my hand off camera? Those are the main resources, right? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe there's like a pure or like a because I'm calling this ocean, so it would be salt water. Getting into lakes and rivers is way down the road, even though that's going to be awesome, and I totally want to spend time on that. That'd be really fun to work on, but difficult and take time. Not super important right now, unfortunately. Like a waterfall would be a really, really easy spot for essence of water. But what can we add in the ocean? Normally, if you have a rare resource, you can get a free essence from it. Or you can get a random drop. Right? But we don't have a water-based resource that could go rare. Hi, kitty. But it could be a common drop off of water elementals, is what I was going to say. Hi, kitty. I'm trying to think of, let's see if I can do a quick search on item database essence of stone, for example. Not listed there. Essence of metal is, well, yeah, and I moved all of that to the was it to the resources themselves? So say we've got an ore. It's got a uncommon reward possibility to give an essence of metal. Or it's got a built-in essence that is not showing up on camera. But this is how the harvestable resources have these settings on them. Common rewards, uncommon rewards, rare, elite, legendary. Most stuff doesn't have rare, elite, or legendary. This is like 1 in 1,000 drops. This is like 1 in 100. And that's per ore. So like you're going to get one of these every once in a while, you know. Was it just the UI was stuck and your breathing potion ran out? So like it looked like you had a breathing potion going, but then it actually wore off, kind of thing? Or did the counter not count down and then the potion all of a sudden turned off? I think there's one of those, just one of those possibilities is probably what's going on. Water-based plant. Well, I guess most of the animals too could have the chance to drop a water essence too. That would be not terrible. As is the case with most of the animals are marked for essence of the beast, and they've got an uncommon essence of the beast. So yeah, I'll add to the fish. I'll give them an uncommon reward for essence of water. So if you kill, I think common reward is 1 in 20, and uncommon's like 1 in 100. So if you harvest like 100 scales, every 100 scales you should get an essence of water, which is what fish will be given off fish meat, and their main resource will be scales, not hide. Oh, it ran out, but the icon was still there. Okay, so yeah, there's something going on when it, I think when it reloads or something. You can just sleep right in front of me, be in the way, kitty? Sleep right in front of the keyboard. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, and fishing too, that's still a couple weeks out though, I think. I actually wrote most of the fishing code and had a crappy UI rigged up, but never did get quite around to finishing it. Anyway, let's see if the fishy's working a little better now. And then we can get him spawning in 3 dimensions instead of 2. And then we can add a bunch more fish in. No problemo. So fishy down on the ground for now. Where did I spot that one? Well, there's one over there moving around now. Or is he chasing me already? What's he doing there? Okay, their speed is way up. They're bolting around now with their wander methods, but that's good. So, okay, that guy just chased me down super fast now. A little too fast. Let's churn those down a bit. Let's say acceleration's more like 2. Maybe the walk speed. For these guys, it's 2 and 6. That's pretty good. Might be able to just use that again. Let's try it out though. 2 and 6. He was darting across the water there. Acceleration 2. I don't know if that's fair or not, but we'll see. Well, you bring up all good and valid points though, John. If at worst I just write them down and get to them later, it's very helpful. There's 700,000 things I'm always kind of trying to. Did I do that? Was I supposed to? Did we do that last week? There's all this. It's a massive jumble that going on in my head at all times. So it's very helpful when you bring up stuff I had either not known about or forgotten about. Should be paying attention to. Let me see here. Fishy, fishy, fishy. There's a fish. There's another fish. He is swimming around. How about this fish? Where's he going to swim off to? He should be idle, and it looks like he's looking down. Let me look at that real quick. Oh, there one just came up behind me. Lots of fish out here. It's really hard to follow them when they're not spawning in 3D. They're looking towards their destination a bit too sharp. I guess that works fine in 2D. But I actually want them to be facing horizontally. Anyway, I got a guy chasing me now, and they keep overshooting. That's interesting. Still pretty fast. Let's tone him down a minute. Tone him down a bit. Where'd he go? Mr. Pike. Oh, how come? Okay, well these are serialized, so yeah, we want that 2 and 6 and 2-ish, maybe. Yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. I think they need a better deceleration, though, because they're overshooting. And we are getting these attack to hit and stuff warnings too. We can set that up. So I'm going to unserialize these now. So these work like this. If they're serialized, they'll stay whatever they were initially serialized as. So these changes weren't taking effect. I liked acceleration 2 there. That was pretty good, but I do think I need a stronger decelerate. Deceleration of maybe more like 10-ish. And let's see, where are we going to use that now? So if we are within melee range, we want to be moving towards 0 using our deceleration like that. And we also want to be looking, transform, look at, let's say we want to do new vector 3. This is a bit of a bummer to be making this every frame, but not terrible. This is only in the event that they're wandering or looking at me. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Destination.x 0, destination.z. So this will have them not look down, but just look, laterally. Likewise here, but we want to do this with target position here as well, and that is the same over here. I think that is all of our look-ats. We got one more down here, but just those 4. So this is a destination again, like that. And let's do one more test, and then we'll go work on spawning. To get them to spawn, what's up, Art? Again, for those that may watch this on YouTube or whatever, Art is a martial artist. He's talking about sparring. He's not actually beating children. I used to take karate, and sometimes you do have to fight little kids, and it's a little weird. This guy is now... What's going on here? These guys are all looking straight down? I guess I did that wrong. Everybody's looking straight down now. What did I miss? I messed something up here. Look at X... Oh, they're all looking at 0 now. Yeah, okay, no. We want to do transform.position.y. So they're looking at the same height, not at the world 0. That is incorrect. And let's recompile that and reload that, because that is weird. I was a 2nd degree blue belt, and then I injured my right shoulder in basketball. I had a buddy go up for a dunk and then like bring his knee down on my right shoulder, and I used to sleep like this all the time, and I still sleep like that with my left arm, but I can't do it with my right arm anymore. I was sleeping like this, and I went to shift positions, and my shoulder popped out. And that was the first time that ever happened to me. I think I was only like 18, and I just moved back in the same direction and was able to pop it back in. But I fully dislocated my shoulder doing that, and boy, that hurts. And I actually did do it once then while I was punching, and my shoulder just popped out, because once you tear those ligaments, they don't grow back. And I had to give up karate, unfortunately. I was doing karate for like an hour and then kickboxing for like an hour after that. Gave those up, unfortunately. Very good for your health, and if you're in a good school, Fishy's chasing me now. If you're in a good, they could still decelerate more. That is kind of fun that they, I guess it's the acceleration, isn't it? Because when they're not within melee range, that's what they're using. And then if I am churning, they're constantly trying to churn towards me. And then if they overshoot a bit, I should probably just turn their melee range up a bit. Well, and these are fish, so they're not actually going to be aggressive, but I think did I kill one of them? I killed one. He didn't have anything. Okay, so they're working more or less, and we'll improve that a little bit. Yeah, I was only like a year in, probably. And that is a very valid point. Self-defense can be it can be a life-saving skill. It can stop you from brain injury and other things if someone decides that they're going to be stupid and try to fight you for no reason, whether you know self-defense or not. Luckily, I don't live in America anymore, so that is an extremely rare thing. Even though it's extremely rare in America, it's multiple factors of more rare over here. But still possible anywhere in the world. So, yeah, there are a good number of dojos not far from my house, that's for sure. And people practice meditation and stuff quite a bit over here as well, which helps with the lowered aggression. So this is all working. The fish are aggressive, which is unintentional, but we can fix that in a moment too. Biggest thing right now that I need, though, is the procedural spawning. So I'm going to open that up, and procedural prefab as well. So let's see here. Is it procedural biome spawn rate that I want to do, maybe? How about I just set up a bool for, let's say, public bool spawn in 3D equals false by default, and for the fishies I will turn this on to true. And then when we get to actually finding a location for them, how do we do that? Let's go down to find a location, and we're not going to use get random location. Let's see. I think I'll have to say if spawn rates. Who's using that? For each spawn rate. Okay, so if, let's go ahead and generate a reference to that first. Procedural biome spawn rate. Procedural biome spawn rate equals spawn rate position I. So these guys can now make use of that. don't think fish have, well, I mean, we're going to have aggressive fish too. And we could have group fish, but I have to click on this. I'm just going to close this. It's annoying. We could have group fish, definitely. But I don't think salmon and pike are supposed to be aggressive in any case. Now, if our procedural biome spawn rate is set to spawn in 3D, we're going to do one thing. Otherwise, we're going to stick to the previous method, like so. Now, in this case, let's see. Probably gonna want to do get random location 3D. And then still have to go through we're still going to want to check the biome. Okay, a little different here actually. This is going to go right here. And let's actually make the base be not. Otherwise, we're going to do get random location 3D, which we'll have to write. Assuming we have found that, we will then check the biome strength as normal, like this. But when we go to check the height, this is going to be different. So if, again, our procedural biome spawn rate not set to spawn in 3D, we'll do this. Otherwise, piranhas are freshwater, aren't they? That would be great for the swamp, though. Swamps aren't necessarily freshwater, are they? Marshes are definitely saltwater, aren't they? I never really thought about that. There's a lot of marshes in Washington. Not a lot of swamps. Swamps would be saltwater too, though, right? I don't know. Maybe there's both. If height... let's see, we want to do float height equals, let's say, -1. And then we'll get it here, and we'll do get height 3D as well. So we'll have to set that up, but we will still be checking to make sure that it gets within the minimum maximum height. Check location will be different too. Let's go one by one though here. So get random location. Probably going to want both of these. Get random location 3D. And get random vector 3D as well. So the U will be like this, and U will be like this. And you will be doing this as well. Location size, area size minus location size. That's not correct for you though. No, I think random location is fine as is. Actually, don't need 3D for you, but when we go to get height, we do want get height 3D. No, I don't think I need this either, now that I think about it. We'll go ahead and stick them straight onto the ground for starters. And then in the event that we're trying to spawn it, if procedural spawn 3D, so they'll stay on the ground if we're not doing this. Otherwise, we're going to adjust that height to be more like height equals... This needs to be deterministic noise, so we can't just random it. Oh yeah, estuary. We have a lot of estuaries in Washington too. Not that I live anywhere near Washington anymore, but used to go see the locks and the docks and all of that as a kid. So this will give us a ground height, and then I'm going to change the height to, maybe we should put it in here. No. We want to be using the same sort of deterministic get a location stuff like this. Get a random vector, float min, float max. Well, that works. Height equals get random vector. We want to do ref spawn counter, and our minimum is going to be our height, and our maximum is going to be our procedural biome spawn rate dot maximum height. So it'll find a random point in between the ground and whatever the maximum height for the fish is. It'll change the height to that. We will double check to make sure that we are within min-max range, which in the case of fish we should always be, but if we're not, it'll delete it and get rid of it. And then during check location, this is going to be doing a vector 2 xz check, which is not sufficient for fish because we can spawn above rocks. So if we're not doing a 3D check, that's fine. Otherwise, this is the only thing I think I need to change to 3D. So not you, but you. So we've got all of our locations to check honestly doesn't quite matter. Let's go ahead and say that they don't actually spawn on the ground ever. They do height plus something like 3. So they're always preferably, let's do it more like 5. They're a little bit up above the ground and all the clutter on the ground. Still a chance that they'll spawn right next to something else. You don't want sharks spawning on top of one another. So we might have to make a new list of used locations. Oh, this does have vector 3 in it. Okay, XYZ. So we can still make use of that, even though we're ignoring it in the 2D check. Let's go ahead and do the straight up vector 3 distance for this here. Even though that's a bit more intensive, this is threaded, so that's all right. We can just go ahead and use the location as is and use the location to check as is. And that should work. Now we just need to make sure we're setting that up properly. Yeah, since we're changing the height, we're resetting it in here manually. That should work. If it does, we will add it and return. Okay, so let's turn the fish up a bit and mark them as 3D. And everything should be working fine. Famous last words, though they are. Mr. Pike, you are going to spawn in 3D. Was there something else I needed to set? I don't believe so. I wanted to churn him up a little bit. Let's put him up to 10 just for testing purposes. And here we go. What's that from? I don't know. Some game. Fishies in 3D? Huh? Huh? No? Where's my fishies? I'm not seeing fishies. So something didn't work. Animals. Pike. There he is. Let's just select them all. They're all on the ground still. That did not work. Why did that not work? Check height. If it's set to spawn in 3D, I want to get a random vector. Height, current height, which would be the terrain height, +5. Min max, maximum height. Should be good. Location.y, set to height. How come that didn't work? Mr. Pike, you are set to be spawned in 3D. I might be actually grabbing this and setting it up manually in here somewhere. Procedural location. Feeding into it the spawn rates directly. So no. Prepare spawn called up here. Likewise, sending the procedural prefab in directly. We're not reconstructing it manually anywhere. Biome prefabs, get biome prefabs. Not manually editing these anywhere, right? Well, let's add a debug to see that we are indeed calling this debug.log 3D. And let's go ahead and do plus this, and let's go ahead and put it beneath our height and just see what that is producing. So we should see them going above ground. This will be the maximum height. This would be the original height. Kind of would like a before and after, but not a big deal. Do kind of want that though. Let's do 1 and a 2, and this will be the before height, and this will be the maximum and the after. So we should expect it to be grabbing a random vector in between the min-max there. Once I get fish spawning, I can get octopus spawning. And once we get octopus spawning, we can have ink. Then we can use that as a component for the scrolls. So we've got the calls coming off here. The ground height registered as 734, and then we randomized there, but it looks like we're not actually using that value for some reason. Why is that? Location y equals height in any case, and then that location is going to be returned to the set up prepare spawn method here. Procedural location equals that. We're going to add a new spawn location using those values, XYZ, procedural prefab, but we're probably ignoring it when we actually call the spawn, aren't we? Let's see. Check, and then spawn. We're not looking at trees. We're looking at stuff, and the spawn location.y is being used. Spawn location X, spawn location Y. Animal, it's not messing with that anywhere. What's going on here? Height's getting set properly. Location.y is getting set to the height properly. Location is being returned properly. Back to this guy. Who's using the XYZ properly. And then up here, we go through all of those. And what is this? Spawn. Yeah, that is just, these are the area XCs. We are using the spawn properly. Something's not right. Let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? I wonder, is there something in Monster AI that's repositioning them? I wouldn't think so. Make sure we're on the ground in case of terrain changes. Well, that we don't want, sir. I'm not currently overriding start, so let's put it in here. If encounter AI equals null, and world encounter equals null, and this is aquatic AI is not true, then we can do that. Otherwise, we do not want to be spawning on the ground. There's always something somewhere getting in the way. Gonna want to turn this debug off now that we know that that's working. These two here. That was most likely not the problem. How to replace the speed trees in the swamp. Would like to find better trees for the swamp. Still have orange and lemon trees in the grasslands being used as speed trees as well. I don't want to get into doing that myself, though. I could look for some. I don't think there's going to be an easy alternative, but there we go. There's a fishy swimming up there. I would like to turn the camera distance a bit so it doesn't get that black fog going there. What causes that? That's going to be switching the player camera to clear flag. I want the fog to be working on the main camera, basically, right? No. I want this fog to be applied universally, is what I'm going for here. Should be on the camera. He's got, oh, do we want to, there we go. I want to turn exclude skybox off in the event that the camera goes underwater. Fishies are swimming around nicely though, that looks good. Let's see if we can aggro this guy, even though we don't want him to be aggro in the long run. Here, fishy. Nice, it's working fine. Don't have a death animation. He's still moving. That's not good. Ghost fish. Swim speed, yeah, we're gonna need that now, huh? Let's see. Aquatic AI. If dead, return. Did he not get marked as dead? How come that didn't trigger? If dead, return. Why didn't that fire? It was fixed update, huh? Yeah, okay. If dead, return. There we go. And actually also, if dead or not is server, how about? If you're not the server, we don't want you messing with the Rigid Potty. Good catch there. What else? Let's see. Player camera. Camera. Underwater. Render settings. Let's do serialize. Whoops. Serialize. I believe this is rendering.postprocessing called post-processing volume. And we want to set the skybox, what is it? Deferred fog, what is it? What am I doing? We were talking earlier, Art, about water essences. So I think I'm going to have fish just drop them as uncommon for now. But we need some underwater resources. We could make like the coral, one of the coral plants, and we could have like seaweed for cooking and some things, but John was saying maybe like a pristine water or something. What am I looking for here? Player camera. Where is the underwater? Is that on the player? That's not as desirable as I was thinking. Characters, player, underwater camera. Nope, where is he used? Let me run the game. Look. Yeah, I wonder if we can't have like a 3D thing too, because like monoliths would spawn, well, and maybe the monoliths are 3D. What I mean by that is something that's not necessarily on the ground, but something that, because, you know, some parts of the ocean are going to be 800 meters deep, you know, but maybe there's stuff that floats in the water. Type underwater camera, wasn't it? No, not seeing that. I have open camera underwater. Okay. Type camera underwater. No, you don't see that anywhere? Is it a capital T? Do I need a lowercase t? No? Somebody's calling this. Where is it? Is it here? Is it here? Camera fog, player camera, camera controller. It's not a manager, is it? Camera. Camera underwater. Well, let's do for int I equals 0, I equals, no, actually, let's do while, bool parent equals, transform dot parent, equals null, question mark, if it's null, false, if it's not null, true, while parent, I want you to make a string called transform dot name. What's going on here? Oh, right, string name equals transform dot name. Well, we've got a parent name plus equals slash plus transform dot parent dot name, and then whatever, that's enough. I don't need all this. If transform dot parent name plus equals, let's do name equals transform dot name plus transform dot parent dot name. That's plenty. Debug that for me, please. I want to know where you are and what you're doing. Good Lord, it's lunch already. Yep, pearls. What would that be? Giant oysters. There's got to be giant oysters I can buy if I don't already have them. I've got turtles. I've got octopus, like I said, sharks. Shark teeth can be a good enchanting resource. Yeah, turtle shell is, I think that constitutes chitin. Chitin. Did you not trigger? Is nobody actually using you? Somebody's got to be using you. What's going on here? Because the fog is working. Who's calling you? Where are you, sir? I'm confused. Maybe I didn't. I moved that to a different script, I guess. See how the fog changes. It's working, but it didn't trigger, so it's not actually being used anywhere. So I guess I moved that to camera fog. No. How about player camera? Which doesn't exist. Player environment. Breath, temperature. Player lighting doesn't have it, I'm pretty sure. Player lighting. No. Where is that? I mean, this is totally it right here. It's got to be using this. How come start didn't trigger though? Or did I just miss it? This is the only guy doing it. I have thoroughly confused myself. Where are you? Why did start not call? Do I have to put you in update? I'll put you in update if I have to. Or am I silly? And what's actually happening is we're triggering the water post-processing layer here. Now that I think about it. And this is churning on the... Yeah, that's what's actually going on. So nobody actually uses that script. That's outdated and should be deleted, I suppose. In this event, we've triggered this, but that's not really what I was going for. So I do want to attach this script to my camera. I just don't want to actually be calling any of this, And since nobody is, I'm just gonna delete you. No, I don't know. I'm still really weirded out that this is actually not being called. I thought that this was being used, but clearly it's not. So I'm just going to comment everything out, and again, what is this guy actually that I'm trying to do here? Player camera, post-processing layer is what I wanted. Okay. PPL dot deferred, what is it? Deferred fog exclude skybox. Exclude, no, where are you at? Fog dot exclude skybox equals false. If we are underwater, right? So we do want that if firing. Otherwise, true. All right. That took way too long. Let's go ahead and put him on here as a test. What was it? Camera underwater. And I will feed him the post-processing volume, which is right here. Nope, I didn't need to recompile to do that. Okay, that's fine. Turtle shell, octopus. That's another kind of meat too, isn't it? We'll have to get into cooking here pretty soon. Seaweed for maki. Vitamins. Lobster. would handle lobster? Lobster you'd probably want to have just like you set up a trap. Maybe you just pick them up. Maybe they don't really move around like animals. They're just down there, and if you can spot one, you can grab them, kind of thing. I want to look at the camera. I want to look at this guy. I want to add the camera underwater and drag that onto there, and that should do what we want it to do. I need a haircut. Gotta get to lunch too. Okay, there we go. That's better. So you don't have that weird horizon showing up. And once the camera goes above the water, it should, no. Did that fix or did it not? Have I just not loaded any distant terrain yet, I guess is all. Oh, the fish are flying. We got flying fish, ladies and gentlemen. Did that not turn off properly? What am I seeing here? No, exclude skybox is on. Why do I feel like it's not? Camera preview. I guess I just don't have... What's the distance camera view look like? Oh yeah, I guess I just don't have anything out there yet. How did the fish fly? What's going on there? They're only supposed to go up to 800. This guy's at 846. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I set that wrong, didn't I? It's not 898, it's 798. Animal pike. Yeah, I set that to 898, didn't I? Nope. Water is at 801. No flying fish, please. I think we can churn them up a little bit, too. And now we should be good to... put in some octopi. Quick and easy. Fishy fishies. Just want to make sure. Probably shouldn't allow archery under here either. Now how about spells? What are we going to be? Are we going to be casting fireballs on fishes underwater? That blue might be a bit extreme. I do want to stop their animations when they die too. Not a big deal though. Flying fish fixed. It is magic, but it's elemental magic, and you're throwing it. I don't know. It's a tough one. Would kind of be a pain in the butt to just say no magic underwater. That would sort of destroy a whole class. Yeah, different particles. That's not a bad idea. Maybe lower damage, or maybe fish have fire resistance because they're wet, or something like that. Copy you. Octopus. where did those go? Gonna have to come back to you. Where was it? An Animal Pack Deluxe. Octopus. Well, no, I guess that's not right, is it? Let's bring him out here. Let's bring the pike out as well. Let's make him a parent. A dot octopus. Put him under there. We want to reset both of these. And I'm probably going to want to make him bigger. Yes. 3, 3, 3. His head is the center point for some reason. Pretty sure octopi attack with their mouths, but whatever. We'll see how it looks. I'm going to make him a little bigger, I think. And we need to copy the health bar stuff. Looks like for now he can be at the same height probably. Oops. And then we need to add a LOD group. We need to add a capsule collider probably. We need to add a aquatic AI, which will give us a network identity. We need a rigid body. We need a network transform. And we need a network proximity checker set to 150 and 2 using only the player layer. We need a monster drop, and we need an interactable drop. These two are disabled, and this guy is set to monster drop. I think that's all he needs. You are fine. You, let's put you at 30, 0.01, I think 1 and 1. Not using gravity, not rotating yourself. And now we need your animator. Your melee range is probably fine like that, a little bigger, maybe 2. You are an octopus. You are in the ocean. Your health bar background looks like this, this, and this. You don't use your death animation. Your rigid body is right here. Where did that go? And you also are a mob. Okay, I think that should be good for him. I need to look at his animator a little bit. None of these are firing, but that's fine for now. We just need speed. And we need walk, die, and run. Okay, so he does have a die trigger. I believe it's death. There we go. So this is from any state. Go to die if the death trigger is called. Not you. Walk, run. I'm going to also want an idle. Who is going to be default. We're going to want transitions to and from all of these. Using speed greater than 0, but less than 2. In this event, you are going to be speed less than 1. This is, again, speed greater than 1. This is speed less than 2. This is speed greater than 1 and speed less than 1, like so. We will give you the same octopus walk animation because I don't think you have a idle. No, you don't. And we'll turn that down to 0.2. And that should be all that you need. We'll go ahead and add... octopus doesn't have attack, does he? No. No, only the great white shark does. So we'll make these guys passive, but we'll give them their... let's see. Still want attack 1. Well, no, they don't. They need to get hit, though. Did I just delete it? Okay. Trigger. I believe it's get hit. Let's look at that. Yeah, they attack with their beak when they attack. I don't think I'm going to make octopi fight back, though. Hit. Okay, so that's what it is. Or is it get hit? Hit is all that they're gonna need. Or is it get hit? I don't know which is which. Attack entity. If is player, blah blah blah, health, else, hit. Okay. Trigger animation hit, not get hit. So just hit so that doesn't freak out. Let's go ahead and add that to the pike as well. Animal pike. I have to open them up, I guess. Add trigger death as well as hit. And let's just make a death state for him. And I can actually animate that myself. I've got minimal animator skills, but I can conjure up a side flop. You know, a fish turn to the side when they die like that. Trigger death. For now, I will just, give him no motion. Should be fine. And did we drag our octopus down here yet? I don't think we did. Put him in here. Now he's a prefab. And now we need a procedural prefab for him. Octopus. Did I already have one? What? I already made one? Octopus. Like this. He's an animal. Let's turn them down. Spawn in 3D. All is well. Monster drop. They don't have... Yeah, so these aren't actually monsters. I shouldn't have been using the goblin as my template. These guys want to be animals. So we can give them their animal drops. But let's just see if they're spawning first. And then I can head to lunch. Yeah, ink. I don't think I mean, they need their own kind of meat, right? We can just do fish meat for now, though. And oh, I didn't add them to the spawner. One last step there. Manager. Too many buttons. Animals. Octopus. Save. Reload. I do kind of like to minimize the ingredient steps rather than making an ink bladder that you then need to process just to make ink, unless there's some kind of a secondary sort of like byproduct, you know. And there's an octopus. That idle animation doesn't really work too well, does it? He's just really slowly spreading his legs about. And he's moving backwards too. It's not the way he should be going. That's a little scary when he's running at you though. But yeah, they're going in the wrong direction. I didn't give him a capsule collider. I did, but it's too small. That actually looks alright for attacking, but not when they're coming at you. Yeah, I don't want to make them attack anyway, though. So, but yeah, so there's stuff in the water now anyway. So it's less boring, and then we'll have like a 0.5 chance for a shark to spawn and bite you. That's one way you could go about it too. You can't really harvest ink out of the water though. You'd have to kill them and get the ink. So more or less working. Let's see. How do I set up? This is going to work good for the shark. What I really kind of want is serialize field. I want to have like bool is passive equals true, and then I can turn that off for the sharks and maybe other aquatic thingies. But the animal AI, really the kind of the main, well yeah, it does do the check resource stats and stuff. Might have to add some more of this stuff in here. I do kind of want to rewrite a lot of this eventually anyway though, so not terrible sort of merging these into one more manageable script. These guys have calm down and run instead of chase and what is it? Return or something. Yeah, I can just flip the octopus around easy enough. I'll just set his set, what is it? Actually I can just change his rotation. Not even mess with the movement math at all. You too, Art. Have a good night. Where's he at? I will just go in and rotate him 180 degrees. He will not be aggressive. So like I said, I'm actually going to want him to run like this and calm down. Wander, chase, return to spawn, run, and calm down. which means he needs the run and calm down timers. Or not calm down, but these guys anyway. Gonna need all of that actually. Right. And then let's see, I think I can set this up in here, no? Protected override void start? No? I thought that was available. Public virtual, okay. Public, or was it setup? No, it's start. Not sure why that's public. Public override void start. We are going to do base start. And if animal type does not equal animal type dot null, meaning he is an animal, we're going to do our check resources stuff, which is this here. That should all be fine as is. Yes. And what else? These guys are never attacking. So get rid of that. And we've also got now, what is it? Run timer. Ooh. That's my 1230 there. If run, oh, I didn't do capital T. Now, if we are passive, let's see. If we are not passive and we've got a target, otherwise, if we are not returning, let's see, this is still if we are not is passive and we are not returning, then we can do all of that. Otherwise, this will let us wander. No, this is returning. I guess we do still want this. We don't want to sense though. If we are not is passive. So passive monsters won't attempt to pick up on players by sensing. So they'll never actually get a target. So I don't actually need that. But that does still get set when they get hit actually. So we'll leave that alone. Now also if they are running. If running and run timer, we do want that. Else if running and we've made it to our destination, we want a new destination. And basically this is else if returning. Else if not returning and not running, how about? This is getting complicated. I Otherwise, if we are running and our run timer has run out, we want to calm down. Otherwise, if we're running and we've reached our current destination, we want to get a new destination, which we overrid, didn't we? Set destination. No, I thought we overrid that. Return to spawn. Oh yeah, we did not even use that, right? We just went straight for destination equals random. Where did we do that? This guy here. Don't even need set destination at all. Destination equals some random location for us to run to. We're not running up and down. That should be good. So if we are set to passive, yeah, in the event of us getting hit, we are actually going to be setting a target. Attack entity. So if it's a client attacking us, we're going to set that as our target. So we do want to keep this here. But assuming we have... I think I'm going to have to set running to true with an override here. And in any case, this is the one that gets called. But the base monster script has no concept of running. So we need to do it down here. Public. Let's put it down here. This is going to be override. Void attack entity. And we want to do base dot attack entity. Damage is player client. But we also want to set running to true. So now this will fire. This won't fire. This won't fire. This won't fire. But we will be running. We probably need to set our run timer as well, huh? What do you set the run timer to? 10. I guess it could be run, but let's just go ahead and set it here for now. Oh, I guess we do have it there, huh? So we can call run, huh? Running equals true, run timer, animator speed float. That should be 2, shouldn't it? Set destination, we don't want to call that anymore. We want to get a new destination like this. Calm down will set us back to 0, running to false. So that should be good, and I keep saying this, but let's give it one last try and then I'll go to lunch. I haven't even drank my coffee. Tunnel vision. So octopi is going to now be passive, correct. Pike will also be set to that, good. I am hungry, and let's spawn them once more. Octopus should be, is passive. Oh, whoops, do I have that on monsters actually? Monster AI. Find is passive. Oh, I actually already have that. It's protected though, huh? sense. Did we change that? Can you shut down, please? Sense on aquatic. I don't think we overrid that. Let me double check. Sense goes to monster AI. So yeah, that is for passive settings, which is good. We'll leave that as is, and let's change this to be, I mean, it's the same thing, but, well, we could do this is aggressive equals true, and then if is aggressive is passive equals false. How about if not is aggressive, passive equals true? That's better. If we are not aggressive, we will set ourselves to passive, because the game, by default, monster AI, which I just closed accidentally, is set to not be passive. But if the player sets the game settings so that they are supposed to be passive, then it will set it to passive. So the default is off. In this case, we want to set sharks to be changing that. Or we want sharks to be leaving that alone, right? Yeah. We don't want anybody to change it to aggressive if the settings are already setting it to be passive. So in the event of the pike and the octopus and other fish, they will not be aggressive, meaning it won't change that setting. It'll just leave it alone. Or no, they will set themselves forcibly to passive, regardless of the settings, basically. So pike and octopus will always result in passive being set, and sharks and stuff will leave things up to the settings, defaulting to aggressive if necessary. And we should find that the fishies don't chase us anymore. Good. And I'm going to take my sword off. I still have 1,000 strength, so I'm probably going to beat the crap out of them. 161 damage. I'd like to try to get one of them to run. But yeah, I punched him. And his drag is way too low there. I'd actually like to look at that. Let's see if he's dead. Maybe I do want his rigid body to be running a little bit of logic there. Anyway, let me see if I can't. Well, how about I just set one of them to run? I just want to make sure that that works. So I'm going to set this octopus to be frightened with his bit that I don't have access to. Shoot. Can I set his health or anything? No. How about I teleport 1 billion miles in some random direction, which very commonly puts me in the ocean. If it doesn't, yes it did, I swear, I always, every time I teleport I end up in the ocean. So these guys should have a lot more hit points. I want to not be selecting something killing my frame rate. And I just want to give one of these guys a punch. The frame rate's still really bad. What's going on here? Miss. Miss. What is my frame rate doing? Settle down, Unity. What's the matter? Alright, I hit him. And he's just standing there. So he's not running properly. Let me take a peek at him. There's a lot of fish out there. Probably turn that down a bit. He is set to... should be at the bottom, I think. He should be running. His run timer is ticking. Oh, we didn't set up... fixed update run method for him. So if he's returning or if he's wandering, these are actually all the same thing. So if he's wandering or returning or running, no, those aren't the same thing. I take that back. If he's wandering, he's walking. If he's returning or he is running, then he's going to be using the run speed here. All right, that should do it. It should be working. He just needed to be told to be moving in that direction properly. I think that is all good. So I'm going to tap out here. Later, John. Sorry if I missed that. Next up, I'll get the shark in, and then I'll add some more fishies in. I will churn these pike down so they're not quite so many of them. We'll get more variety. I'll probably just add like one other fish in for now, because they're not actually going to be offering different drops. And yeah, then we can get some items on them, and then I can get back into player animator, because the swimming animation is just horrible. And then we need to get into combat animations and harvesting animations, because they are also horrible and need work. And that will be a great first pass at, sort of the presentation pass, I've been calling it. Sort of improving the sort of outward appearance. We're probably going to spend some time on the UI after that. I've been talking with some people about how to improve the building UI, color theory, some of these things that I'm just really not personally interested in. So it's not something that comes to the forefront of my thought processes. But it is actually does very much affect the user experience. So looking to put some time into that, and yeah. So take it easy. It's going to be Saturday here. Actually had a death in the family, so my wife's parents are out of town today. We're going to go stay at their place tonight to take care of their dog, and we'll be back here tomorrow, but probably not until PM kind of stuff. So very, very unlikely I will be streaming on Saturday, but should be back as normal on Tuesday. So hopefully I get a haircut by then. It's getting a little unwildly, but the temperature is steadily going up. The initial pollen wave has died down a bit, so I hope it's getting warm wherever you are. Hope you're getting vaccinated wherever you are. Not available in Japan